Welcome back, my nomads. Welcome back to another Bitcast. It's your boy Nigel, and I'm here again with Zach. How you doing, Zach?
Hey man, how's it going after dark?
It's going good, man. I saw Dune 2 again.
Oh, wow. Two more times than I've seen it.
I can't wait for you to see it, man. It's amazing.
I um I know I'll get around to it. It's one of those movies, and I know that look, I can't just sit down and have pay attention to it because that will kind of do it an injustice. So I just want to make sure I can just be completely committed to watching something that long. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, yeah. And I said it before. I'll say it again. It earns its runtime, and I know you'll enjoy it. Um, Question: Your thoughts on the Crow trailer and the Alien Romulus teaser trailer?
Well, Crow's pretty cool. I'm looking forward to that.
Really?
You said it's on Paramount Plus, right?
Yeah, the original. Yeah,
Is
the Brandon
the
Lee original.
Is the new stuff going to be on there? Is it owned by them or who owns it?
No, it won't be on there because Lionsgate is doing the new one, and
Okay.
that's what's it called? Universal is NBC is Peacock. NBC Universal is Peacock.
Oh, okay. I had
Lionsgate doesn't have a streaming service yet, but I heard they're trying to buy one, so I'm not sure which one.
what do you think that because here's the thing, we're getting like these obscure like unoriginal stuff like remakes again, and I think that it's kind of bad when it happens after every writer's strike, right? You're like, okay, we need something like now, so let's just
Yeah,
pull something out of a well, and this happens to be the thing.
well, The Crow has been in development for so long. Like what? I think they said 12 years. I mean, at first Jason Momoa was attached to it. Joseph Gordon-Levitt was attached to it at some point. Like there were so many actors and directors attached to this remake. I never thought it would get made. Now it is. And honestly, I feel a little disappointed when I looked at the trailer. You know, I will say I won't have as much hate for it as the original director Alex Proyas has for it, and a lot of fans has for it. Um,
What's
but
wrong with do you I mean, I'm a Brandon Lee fan, man, or was. Died really young,
mm,
but it's just like, what was this the movie he no, which movie was it he died on set?
The Crow.
It was The Crow. Okay, I'm just
You
making
know what's
sure.
funny too? I mean, it's
Okay.
not funny. It's very ominous. But he was killed doing the scene where he gets killed. Like it's crazy. You can't make this shit up. Like they shot him with a blank and he died. He was supposed to be acting like he died. He really did die.
In that movie, and they released it like that.
And that movie is the reason why there's so many strict gun rules on movie sets right now. Like you can't fire blanks at actors at all. Like you
Mm-hmm.
can't do stuff like that. Like it's because of Brandon Lee. They had a blank in the gun, shot him, killed him, and it's like, oh, he's a great actor. Dude's really dead. So it's kind of messed up. He
Well, I
shot
mean,
most of
his
the
father
movie.
died super young too, so it's like, I don't know,
Oh
maybe that
yeah,
family's cursed.
you know, I mean that's what people. That's where the theories have come from. Is that his family's cursed? But yeah, it's kind of great. So Ernie Hudson, you know the actor Ernie Hudson, the black guy from the Ghostbusters movies,
Yeah.
the original
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
He was on The Crow. He played a cop. He was there when I mean, I don't think he was on set that day when Brandon died, but he worked with Brandon.
Mm-hmm.
They became friends, whatever. He says, and I sympathize with this man. He says he's never seen The Crow and he's never seen any of the sequels and he's never going to watch the remake because he was like, he really liked Brandon. One day he's on set with him, the next day he's not. He was like, this dude literally died for this movie. A movie about a man who's killed and comes back from the dead to avenge his girlfriend. Like, this man literally gave his life for this movie and he feels weird about watching them So some people were like, "Oh, he doesn't want to see the remake." Guys, he hasn't seen any of the Crow movies. Hasn't read the comics. He just doesn't feel right about doing it.
Bill
He knew the guy.
Skarsgård's doing it, right?
Yeah, he's the new Eric
What do you
Draven.
think? I mean, here's the thing: great actor. Can't really knock
Hmm.
any of the Skarsgård. I feel like all of them are so talented. It's like ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We were
What
talking
do you
about
think
them and the
about that?
Gleason family. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So when you think of Bill Skarsgård, you don't really think of an action guy. So it was an
Well, John
interesting
Wick.
choice. He didn't do any action. he
No,
was
he
he was
just
in
got
the
killed at the end.
spoiler alert. But you don't think of him as an action guy. I think
No, no,
this
no.
was the wrong movie to try to step his toes into action.
I don't know. I don't think so because it's not like he's showing his face. Like he's got makeup and stuff, right? So it's not like it's.
I'm gonna tell you why. As a fan of the original movie, I didn't read the comics. I've only seen bits and pieces of the sequels, but I've seen the original movie. I see the issue with people, what fans are having. You know, um, if you watch the original Crow, it has a certain look to it. It's like, I don't know. It's like Sandman on meth. But it kind of created this gothic genre that the '90s kind of followed. Like movies like
Mm-hmm.
The Covenant and stuff like that. Um, so it has a certain look to it. To me, and it's not just me saying this. A lot of people online said it. The new remake looks like a John Wick clone, which a lot of these movies are nowadays. A lot of these action movies are just trying to be John Wick.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, whereas The Crow has a specific look to it that the remake doesn't seem to be following.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and my critique, which is a lot of people's critique, is so in the comic books, Eric Draven isn't the only Crow. There's many stories in the comics where someone died and came back from the dead from that same Crow to avenge whoever, themselves or their loved one. Why
Okay.
make a remake of Eric Draven when you could just pick a different Crow from the comics or make your own new Crow and have that same that same bird, that same crow, bring that person back from the dead and tell your own story? Why use
Is this
Eric
a
Draven?
remake or is this a
It's a remake.
sequel?
It's
Okay.
a remake. It's the same character, Eric Draven. What's his name? Played Eric Draven. Brandon Lee played Eric Draven in The Crow, the original movie, and this one is a remake. The character's name is Eric Draven. Bill Skarsgård's playing him. So it's a remake. It's not a sequel. It's not a different Crow. They could have picked a different Crow, but they didn't. They went for the remake route, which I don't agree with. And I see what people are mad with. Now, at the same time, I do believe let's wait and see what it looks like the movie itself. Because let's not forget, people, trailers aren't the finished product. They're still working on the film. I say give it a chance. I don't believe the remake deserves all this hate. People are acting like Bill Skarsgård killed a puppy on screen or something. Like no, it's just a remake. The original still exists. You can still watch it. It's on Paramount Plus right now. You can watch it.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't believe it deserves this much hate. But at the same time, I understand why it's getting this hate, and I think the remake is a little misguided. So that's what I'll say about that.
I'm my question. I'm going to say this with bated breath. What do you think about how Acolytes got the most views on a Star Wars trailer like ever?
Um, so I don't believe any of that stuff anymore. When it comes to streaming or views, I don't believe it.
Yeah.
Let's just say, um, I know people who have bought views before. So especially when it comes with Disney, and I think some of those views are from like, let's see what trash they're putting out now.
Yeah. Or it could be from bots. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. You can buy views literally. You can buy bots to views. So honestly,
Are you going
maybe
to
I'm being
watch it?
biased. No. Um, maybe I'm being
Do you know what
biased,
it's about?
but yes, and I don't care. Maybe I'm being biased,
This is the first
but
time we've actually got like a Jedi type of thing not associated with Anakin at all.
I don't care. I guarantee you it's going to tie into the Anakin prophecy. You know, the one prophecy. I guarantee you. I guarantee it. I put my whole life on that, bro. But I just don't care anymore about Star Wars stuff or
I
Disney
know.
stuff in general.
I
I
know.
just don't like. I haven't even watched the X-Men '97. I hear it's amazing. I just don't care. There's other stuff to watch. I'm watching stuff on HBO Max. I'm watching Shogun on FX. I'm watching Tokyo Vice on HBO Max. Like, there's good stuff
Yeah, a
out there
lot
to
of
watch.
Japanese themed stuff right now. I'm watching, dude. See, I'm
Speaking of
glad you
Japanese
listened to
themed
me
stuff,
on Tokyo Vice because, man, I'll tell you what. I hope they draw this out another season.
it's amazing. And once I'm done Tokyo Vice, I'm moving on to Monarch, which is
Ooh,
another Japanese theme thing, you know. So
so good though.
yeah, so I mean, there's other stuff to watch, guys. Like, you don't have to keep watching this Disney dribble. You don't.
Do you think Hayden Christensen's going to do anything else but Star Wars stuff since he's like out of like the woodwork?
I don't think so. I mean, he doesn't seem to care too much about acting, and
He does it. It's so funny. It's
yeah,
like he's got more. His royalties alone, dude, is out of this world. Like his original contract like makes so much sense. And if you're playing Darth Vader related anything, you're getting a piece of that pie. So you know.
and he's I feel like he's doing this Anakin stuff for the fans, and he doesn't care
Well,
about
he wants to
acting,
do
so
more
it's just
stuff
going.
with Darth Vader. He has said that.
Well, yeah, yeah, he's doing it for the fans, and I think he likes the character. Who wouldn't? I mean,
That's the
you know, and the
greatest
we
villain ever.
we see in the right hands. Right, right, you're right. Like, we've seen in the right hands, it's a great
That's a great
character.
villain.
Yeah, so
Just because Obi-Wan, the story may or may not have made sense, doesn't mean the characters themselves weren't good.
right, so right, exactly. So it's like, I don't think he'll do anything else besides Star Wars.
Maybe they
He's
need to
got a good thing
rename
going.
Obi Wan and just do Obi Wan and Vader or something like that because it's really about those two and their relationship. Like it has nothing to do with Obi Wan besides that.
I mean, the show Obi-Wan proved that you don't need a second season. You just need a movie. Just make it Obi-Wan and Anakin, you know, or Obi-Wan and Vader, like you said. You don't need a. You don't have enough You didn't have enough content for a season, the first season
And
to
they
begin
could
with.
have, and I think they were just concentrating on the wrong stuff.
Yeah, yeah. So just just
Have you
just
noticed?
make it a movie.
Have you noticed that Darth Vader's mask is different in every movie and every show?
Yeah,
Iteration
well,
like the New Hope has a version. Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi,
yeah,
Rogue One. Very
yeah.
fascinating details, huh?
Yeah, I feel like that's the Marvel or the super not a Marvel thing, but a superhero effect. You know how both Marvel, DC, whatever superhero, any sequel there has to be a new suit or an updated suit. I feel like it's that kind of effect. You know, to sell merchandise. Like, oh, this Darth Vader suit is from the different era. You know, it's the Galactic Civil War era. This is the Clone Wars era. This is the Rogue One era. You know, so I think they can't help themselves. And also, it might be a
Yeah,
thing
I
of,
mean, but the movies had different variations from like the 70s anyway, so it's not like I don't
well,
think they
remember
were
why
really
they did
thinking
that
about
though.
that. Yes.
Remember the original movie, they had like no budget, so it was
Yeah,
kind
so
of
they
like
they were stuck
it was
with
kind
it.
of like Frankenstein of a suit, and then they got more money for the
And they
sequel,
were
so it
like,
was
"All right,
like,
let's make
let's
this look a
update
little
this.
better."
Because remember, in A New Hope, it wasn't shiny really, and then
Yeah.
in the sequels, it was a shiny Darth Vader
Very
suit.
yeah, it was chromed out. But
Yeah,
you look at Rogue One, his suit was not like a New Hope. It was
nah.
very updated. You can tell,
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. I
which
mean,
is okay. Like I understand, like that stuff like that. That doesn't bother me. It is what it is. Like you can't have. It looked like the original suit was spray painted. Like you can't have that walking around. Like
yeah, yeah, you gotta and and you gotta update it because these cameras are crazy nowadays. Like, cameras get better, TVs get better, So you got to find ways to
Well,
to
and the
hide the
actor
seams and
walking in it
stuff.
too has got to be comfortable. He can't be walking around like he's got peg legs. Like that's not that's
Yeah,
that's not how you got to
we
do
want a
things.
Darth Vader that moves like in the video games. Like when you fight him,
Why is that the case? Like, why are the video games the Darth Vader? That guy is faster than sin, and he is OP. But in the
because it's
movies,
fake. It's fake. There's certain things
well,
you can do in animation that you can't do in live action. Unless they go the Zack Snyder route and just make his whole suit CG, there's certain things you can't do. Remember for Man of Steel, all the suits were CG, and that's
oh
why they move like
yes,
that.
yes.
They could do that for Darth Vader.
Yes, I was like thinking about it because even Superman in Zod suit,
Yep, Zod suit was all CG. Those
no,
not mech suits, but like those armor things.
yeah.
That's why they were moving
That's
like that because it
fascinating.
was all fake. If you look at behind the scenes, they're all just in gray suits and they're just moving around like
Do you
regular.
think? I mean, speaking of Superman, because he's such a great character, do you think this James Gunn one's going to be trash or what?
I don't know, man.
I'm worried.
It's, I'm very worried. He's casting all these people. I'm like, are you making a Superman movie or a Justice League movie? Like, pick one. You can't do both. Like, come on, man. Just
I
tell a good
think
Superman
I
story.
think it's just we're at this point with DC that they got to start making bold moves.
They got to do something, man. Because I don't know. I mean, we say that, but in hindsight, the Batman did great. The Joker, even though I didn't like it, did great. Um, so it's not like they're that much in trouble. It's just their franchise is in trouble. You
Well,
know
the
what I'm saying?
franchise part, the one-off ones that have nothing to do with the core canon, is in trouble.
The one-off
You know
ones
what I
are
mean?
good. Yeah,
Yeah, all of them are good. Why can't they have that same energy? I don't understand.
I don't know because look at the Joker. Look at the Batman. What were they? What was different about them than the like core timeline or whatever franchise movies? The Joker and the Batman were a director's project, whereas the other movies were made by committee. It looks like, where they look like they were manufactured on an assembly line.
Yeah.
But like the Joker and the Batman, they look like indie projects with a big budget, and they're
Mm.
just so good, you know.
I
So I think that's what they need to do.
I don't think I. So they're doing like the Gareth Edwards type of thing, huh? That's what they kind of should go after, you know, like that natural effects type of thing, which is what made Man of Steel so good because it was filmed on a single camera, I believe, just one camera.
Oh, word.
Yeah,
Well, I'm surprised DC didn't snatch up Gareth Edwards. What's it called? Universal snatched him up real quick to do the next Jurassic Park. I'm surprised DC didn't do that themselves. But he probably
him
doesn't
and
want to do
Chris
that. He
Nolan
seems
need
like
to
a
do
monster
something
guy.
together.
That
That
would
would
be
be
great.
great. Yeah,
That would be
fantastic.
great.
And I love how Chris Nolan's doing. So, two more things before we get into the topic. Well, on my end, anyway. So I know we talked about Chris Nolan doing James Bond, and
Hmm.
you spaced on it. First off, James Bond in this this is going to be the most realistic James Bond ever known to man.
This is going to be the most timeline confused James Bond we've ever seen.
Does it matter? Because you have probably the best casting of James Bond yet with Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Ugh, great casting. Didn't see it coming. Usually for Bond they go for like a
We talked
relatively
about this.
unknown. You
Ben
know.
Ben Barnes, right?
Hmm.
Or Aaron Taylor Johnson, or I told you this offline anyways. Like these two would be great. Either
Hmm.
one of them. Now he can't have this mustache that he's got going on. That would be off
Nah,
limits with the
he can't have his long flowing hair either. He's gonna have to shade that down. Kind of like how
Dude,
he looked in the Kingsman. Kingsman,
yes.
Golden Circle.
But he's going to have to change his accent because his natural accent is too
Cockney.
poor. No,
Yeah.
because James Bond's from like he went to he's educated, he's highbrow, even though he's an orphan. You know,
Well, he
he
was
is.
recruited from the MI6 at a young age, so he went to like a pristine academy and everything like that.
Yeah,
So,
you went to Cambridge, so it's like, all right, he's a smart guy.
mhm.
I have no issue that he's going to be able to do that. He'll be able to do that just fine. I'm not concerned with
Oh
that.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, he's good with
but
accents.
this is going to be a long James Bond movie, and he's going to do like 3 or 4 of them, from my understanding.
Really? First of all, does Christopher Nolan take naps? Does he sleep? Does he take breaks?
Dude, this is like the greatest honor that a British filmmaker can get. Think
Facts.
about it.
Yeah. He'll do what he can. He's going to get that
Like
knighthood.
this is
He's
what
probably
he
working for that knighthood.
exactly. After
Sir
he's done
Christopher
James
Nolan.
Bond, everyone gets the knighthood. That just seems to how it works.
Right. Sir
So,
Christopher Nolan.
do you think there's any chance of them being bad?
No,
Me neither.
I
There's
don't
no
think
way.
so.
A guy
Especially
like
if his
that is not
brother
going to mess
writes it
this
for
up.
him.
Oh, dude, forget it.
If he writes with him, it's a wrap. They're going to be the greatest of all time.
Can we
You
get
know,
Oscar buzz out of a James Bond movie?
I think we've got it before. I definitely know that Skyfall was nominated or won for cinematography with Roger Deakins.
I'm talking about like writing and stuff.
Ooh, yeah, maybe. I know
It's
Jonathan
never been the
Nolan
acting. It's
deserves it.
never been. I mean, look, there's been some bad Bonds like Timothy Dalton and Roger Moore
Pierce
and stuff, but
Brosnan.
I'm not a
Pierce
big Pierce
Brosnan was
Brosnan
good.
fan.
He just had bad movies.
You mean Denise Richards as a nuclear physicist in one of the movies? Yeah, like that's believable.
And then Die Another Day was so bad. That was my first Bond movie ever.
Really?
The one with Halle Berry when he was in the Ice Palace and
Yeah, yeah,
Rosamund
yeah.
Pike.
Like that's the first
That
one you saw.
ever. And that's considered one of the worst, if not the worst Bond movie. And that was my first one, which is why I never watched any Bond movies until Daniel Craig became Bond.
Well,
And
and that was
everybody's
the
like,
second best one ever.
everybody's like, bro, you started at the wrong movie. You got to watch Sean Connery.
Sean Connery was the man. He was the best, and then Daniel Craig and everyone else is like, oh, but no, I mean, this is exciting. It's kind of fascinating to me that they pick someone who's not much younger than Henry Cavill.
Yeah, well, they wanted longevity. I mean, Daniel Craig was not coy about how hard it was to play Bond after the first one and how much of a toll it was on his body and his
15
mental
years,
health.
dude, of in that franchise. Four
Now,
movies,
it
5 movies,
some like four,
four.
five,
So Casino
four.
Royale,
Yeah.
Quantum of Solace, Skyfall, Spectre, and Die Another Day.
Oh, so
Not Die
five.
Another Day. No Time
The
to
last
Die,
one. Yeah, No Time to Die.
which was fantastic, by the way.
The last one.
Yes, No Time to Die was
It was alright.
fantastic.
It was alright. Um,
It was
I
all
just felt like
right.
I just felt like they kicked Bond to the side.
No, well, that's the thing. Like none of these are. There's no continuity in all the franchises, so who cares? You know.
No, you know what I mean. Like it kind of felt like there was an agenda there. I don't know. And the last Bond with Daniel Craig kind of felt like there was an
Well, I
agenda
feel like
there.
empowering female character, blah blah blah. I know
No,
you
no,
know
no,
what it is.
no. Hmm. Hmm.
Go on. I'm curious. What's
No,
your
I was just gonna say. I mean, excuse. I mean, it was just. I have no problem with strong female characters. We've talked about that, but you know, the black female 007.
Oh, her, yes. God, yes.
Pretty much all the females in that movie were like femme fatales. They were all kind of the same. You know, they were kind of like the textbook strong female warrior character in
You
all
know,
these
Christopher
movies.
Nolan's not going to do that. He does not do that in any of his stuff. He does not check
Nah,
boxes.
nah, he doesn't do agendas. Nah, he just wants to tell a good story. do a
Which
good
can
movie.
will every movie, which is also interesting to me that he was picked, was that are you okay with him running the entire thing and there's no interference coming from the studio? Are they okay with that? Like, hey, you guys, I'm not going to get all these box checkings that you want. This is how it
I don't
is.
know
But
because MGM is owned by Amazon now.
that's true. So Amazon doesn't really do that. Like you can tell, like
Have
in
you
Lord of
seen Rings of
Rings.
Power?
Well, no, that was the filmmaker. I don't think that was the studio's decision. That was more of the direction they hired for the people.
Yeah, maybe,
You
maybe.
can
I don't
tell that
know.
was just based on bad writing versus the studio
Yep.
interfering. There's a difference.
Yeah, bad writing.
Because look, they wouldn't have dropped $2 billion to check boxes. Let's be real.
Yeah.
No one would ever do that. Just
Right.
to
Right.
acquire the IP alone, just the licensing alone was a couple $1 billion. You think you're going to just start checking boxes to, fulfill a minorities like group that they don't even care about, like appeal? Come on.
Right. Right. Facts. Yeah. Yeah.
And I completely
But
spaced on what was the other thing I was going to.
your list.
Oh yes, no, the Las Vegas studio that's being backed by Mark Wahlberg, and it's going to be a Sony and something else film studio. What do you think that we're branching outside LA?
Oh, yeah. I mean, Vegas must have some good like state filming taxes or something cuz they're building a whole studio out there. That's going to be nuts. That's going to be crazy. And I wonder what they're going to make. Are they going to make some more shitty Spider-Man spin-off movies with that studio? Is that
You
just
mean
for the
like with Spider-Man
Spider-Man
on the strip?
Madam Web 2, you know?
I am not going to see that. I wouldn't even see the first one. Did you see that?
No. Are you kidding? One
No,
of the
but
worst
isn't it
trailers of all time.
fascinating that the power of movie making is like Hollywood's like losing it? It's always been in Georgia, right? But it's like it's going other places.
Well, ever since that Supreme Court ruling on what was it, Article 2 or whatever, with abortions went through, Georgia has lost a lot of what's it called? A lot of studio appeal, so to speak, because Hollywood's very liberal. So to do that, they're going to try to move it somewhere else. And I was wondering if they
This
were going to
isn't the
move it
place to
back to
do that.
Vancouver.
Well, I mean,
I mean,
abortion's legal here, but this is not the place to make a stand or
a
a
stand.
message because it won't stick here. Especially Mark Wahlberg, because Mark Wahlberg is not liberal or traditional Hollywood. So maybe there's a
I don't know what
shift.
he is. All I know is I've seen him do a lot of like Christian stuff lately. I was like, oh, I didn't even know he was into church. Like, he just
Yeah,
came out of nowhere.
he's a
You know,
huge Catholic man.
this is the same guy who his one of his first movies, his dick was out. And now he's doing um, ads with Jesus, the guy who
Why
plays
not?
Jesus in that show.
Why not?
Hey, you got to repent somehow.
I mean, he makes a lot of money, so who cares?
Hey,
I mean,
do
his
what you got to
content's
do.
not bad. Like, I don't see him selling out just to sell out. Like, he still makes good stuff.
Yeah, yeah, he does. He does. He's still a good actor. He's still making good stuff. It just felt left field. Like I'm in the movie theater just waiting for a movie, and there's a preview of
Matthew
him.
McConaughey does the same thing.
I've never seen him do any
Matthew
faith stuff.
McConaughey is a huge Christian, like huge. That's why he stays in Texas. He stays away from the Hollywood stuff because he's even said on the Joe Rogan show, like with his, he's like, look, they
With
don't
his cult.
accept me. Yeah.
Is that why he eats umbilical cords? Just like chicken?
Yeah,
Just like
well, it
mom used
wasn't
to make?
umbilical cords. I know he ate the placenta,
Oh, yeah, placenta. Yeah.
and he
Yeah,
buried
just
the
like mom
umbilical
used to make
cord in
them.
the tree area in his house, in his land's yard or something. I think.
Oh. Is that how babies come into this world? I'm sorry, I'm being facetious.
I know. I
No
I
disrespect to people. You believe
I
that.
The dirt's really hard here, so I'm not able to do the same thing. So I ate mine. Wouldn't mind. Chewed it like jerky.
Oh, oh man.
Gross, right?
Oh.
All right. Anyway, enough nastiness. Do you have anything else you want to talk about, or you want to get into Troy?
Let's get into Troy, man.
All right. So, just context, everyone. He tells me, he's like, "Hey, let's talk about Troy." It's like, man, that's such a great movie. One of these movies that I thought was made by Oliver Stone. I was mistaken. Wolfgang Peterson.
Wolfgang Peterson.
Yes, who doesn't do a lot of stuff. Like you see his thing, and
No.
he does not have a huge Rolodex. But I was like, man, what a great movie. One of the things that sticks out for me, one, is the cast. Cast is phenomenal. That runtime,
Right.
also long. 3 hours long. But 100% worth it, and nothing feels like it's like, it doesn't feel like it lags or it's just fluff. It's all continuous, and there's a purpose for why each scene's there.
Mm-hmm. So, I read the Iliad, which this is based on, in school, and if you ever read the Iliad, you know that
Everyone
it's
has.
very, yeah,
The Odyssey and the Iliads are like freshman year stuff or
yeah.
whatever.
Well, I don't know if this younger generation has, but it's very fanciful, and it
Yes.
involves the gods. So when I saw this movie as a kid, obviously I didn't see it in theaters. I was a kid, but when I saw it on TNT or USA or whatever those cable network channels was, I thought it was so cool that they took a grounded approach to where there's no gods, there's no magic. It's like, if what if this really happened and the camera was a fly on the wall, so to speak.
I mean,
And
technically it did happen.
well, I know some I know at the time of this movie, scholars were split in half. Some believed it happened, some believed it was just a story. I don't know if that's changed lately. I haven't looked into my Troy lore lately. But there was evidence that Troy did exist and that there was a battle like this, and then some believed it still didn't happen.
I mean,
But
the characters all existed. They were real. You like the people that they're writing, like they were real people. You know what I mean? It's not like this wasn't faked in terms of like with the Greeks anyway. They were real. You know,
well, I
there's
don't know if Achilles, who was dipped into the Great Sea without his heel, who came out immortal, was real. I don't know
well, you
about
don't know
that.
that. I mean, you know how that is. You see someone
Yeah, I know.
fantastic in battle, you're like, okay, let's just make up a crazy story about something about how he doesn't die in battle, you know?
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, whether it was real or not, it was very cool to see a realistic
Yes.
approach to it. Um, this movie, when I was a kid, I loved movies like this, like Gladiator, Troy, big epic movies. My dad showed me the Ten Commandments as a kid. I saw Ben Hur as a kid,
Great,
so I love
great.
these huge historical movies, and they're the reason how I got into philosophy. And this movie is filled with like philosophy. Like when I was a kid and my friends, we were talking about Troy when it came on TV, everybody wanted to be Achilles. Everybody wanted to be Brad Pitt, murking people on the beach and getting the girl. I wanted to be Odysseus. I wanted to be the wise guy saying all these one liners, zingers, and going off into the sunset and like, think about it, bro.
He was
Think,
the only one that
you know.
survived that whole ordeal in the end.
Yeah, and it's tragic what happens to him in the Odyssey, but
Yeah, 20
I thought
years
it,
away from home.
yeah, I thought it was longer,
Nah,
but
20 years.
20 years. But
20 years. Yep.
it's interesting that they didn't do the Odyssey after this movie, but the Odyssey is a little too fanciful for a grounded approach for it.
Too much going on. You got to kill
Yeah,
he's got to, he comes back, he gets marooned on the island with the ogre, he pulls out the eye, you got the Sphinx, you got a million things
you
going
got a
on.
bunch
It's
of
not,
witches and monsters,
how
and
do you
then
do a
shape
grounded
shifting.
approach to that? There's no way.
Yeah, yeah, like shape shifting and stuff. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. So yeah, this movie was dope, man. I love this movie. I mean, the cast, like you said, is crazy. You got Peter O'Toole, Lawrence of Arabia himself. You got I forgot his first name, but something Gleason, Brendan Gleason, I think it is.
Brendan Gleeson.
You got
Yes.
Brian
Brian
Cox, fresh
Cox.
off
Yes.
of X-Men 2. You got Brad Pitt, Eric Bana. It's
Orlando
crazy.
Bloom.
Orlando Bloom.
Diana Kruger.
Yeah, Diane Kruger, man. Like she was killing it in the early 2000s, But yeah, the cast was crazy. But
Sean Bean. Can't forget
Sean
Sean
Bean
Bean
as
as
Odysseus, yeah, killing it. And he actually didn't die. In a movie where everybody dies, he's the one
he
guy
was
who
the
doesn't
character
die.
who actually doesn't die, and he has a whole book about him surviving afterwards, which is fascinating.
Which is crazy because Sean Bean is known for playing characters who die all the time.
But that's his
But
thing. He likes doing that.
yeah,
He
he
talks
likes
about it.
doing it for some reason.
He likes playing the bad guy who usually dies.
And
I
he
was
likes
like,
playing good
okay.
guys who usually die too. He just likes dying. He
Well,
was in one
because then he
job.
doesn't have to be stuck in a franchise forever. He likes that, hey, I can do something else,
He was in that one Bond movie where he was a villain and died. Like Bond like let go of him and he died on a satellite dish or something. The Denise Richards one, I think.
Yes.
Crazy.
Yes.
But this guy's career is crazy, man. If you look at his resume. But yeah, Troy was amazing. I don't feel like it was too long. I wanted more as a kid. I was just before we got on here, I was just rewatching that Brad Pitt and Eric Bana fight. Man, such an underrated fight that people don't talk about when they talk about action movies. And Brad Pitt and Eric Bana did their own fights,
Eric
their
Bana.
own stunts. Yeah, I keep saying Bana. Eric Bana did their own fights, and man, it was amazing, man. I remember because I was always a movie nerd since I was a kid. I remember getting the DVD and watching the special features and seeing how the director said that fight was so important to the movie that he saved that for the last thing to shoot. That was the last thing they shot. They wanted to get everything else out of the way and then concentrate on that fight. And I just love how the suspense just keeps building up. I mean, you see both of them getting ready, putting their armor on. He Brad Pitt rides up to the gate, just starts yelling his name, and he doesn't come out right away. Eric Bana, oh my gosh, Hector. I'm just going to call him the Hector. Hector spends all the time in the world saying goodbye to everyone. This is a man who knows he's going to die. Like he's like, look, I've seen this guy in action.
And
There's
it's
no
his
way I'm
father's fault for
surviving.
this happening, which is
Yes,
even worse. And then he gets all upset. I'm like, if you and he continued to listen to the religious, like the priests. It's like, oh well.
his dad is the. I don't know who's dumber in this movie, Paris, Helen, or his dad, because his dad continually.
Paris was smart at the end. He was like, just burn it. And he's like, I don't think I will.
That was the smartest thing he did in the whole movie, and his dad still didn't listen to his kids. Like Troy would have been saved if the king just
But
listened
that's
to
the
his
whole point
kids.
of the Iliad and Odyssey, right? Is like taking these core things, listening to it when there's really no reason to, and it bites you.
Yeah, I see. Like some scholars talk about how in the Iliad, like you said, the theme is that everyone's putting their trust in the gods, whereas the gods are just playing them like pawns on a chessboard
Exactly.
for
They
their
laugh
own
at it. Yep.
games. Yeah, it's a game to them. These petty squabbles. It's just ridiculous. And people are like, oh, we'll trust in the gods, and the gods are just like,
Well, they feel like
you're
they're on the
dead.
righteous path of the god's favor, and they've never were.
Oh, yeah. Yes. So, clearly, like Hector is a practical man in this movie, and he wants to do everything the right way. He wants to use military strategy, but his father is continually listening to the hype. He's listening to the priests and who are looking, like you said, bird signs. And really, his father, they talk about how he's a good king. I wonder if his father is getting senile at this point because he's an older man. I wonder if he's just like, oh yes, the gods want to save us, and da, da, da. It's like, I think it was Hector's military strategy that helped you guys all those years. But let's just listen to the guy with bird signs. sure there's nothing wrong that can come out of that.
Yeah.
I had to plug in my laptop. But yeah, like Priam stressed me out in this movie. Um and everybody obviously is going through their is coming to this for their own reasons, right? Like
Yeah.
Agamemnon is just a man of power. I like how they took out some of the stuff to keep it more grounded. Because in the Iliad, Agamemnon has his daughter on board with him. He sacrifices her to the gods so that they get favorable wind to sail to Troy. That's a good thing to take out. But yeah, like I love Brian Cox in this movie. Brian Cox is a powerhouse, man. He's
Fantastic
amazing.
actor.
Yes, fantastic. And he's just chewing up the scenery as Agamemnon, who's just this power hungry dude who, yes, he united all the kingdoms in Greece, but it's not to be, it's not to, unify his country and to make it a good place, good safe place. No, it's because he's just hungry for power. And the first chance he gets to invade Troy with 50,000 soldiers, he's going to do it. And so, you see, it's like he even says it himself, like, I didn't come here for your pretty little wife. I came here for Troy. Like, he wants to control the Aegean Sea by being at Troy. And I just love watching him and Achilles just go at each other, man.
All right. So I have an exercise I want to do with you. We're going to recast all the major actors in this.
Whew.
All right. I'm going to start first. So, King of Troy, Peter O'Toole's character, Ian McDermott, instead.
Okay. All right.
Your turn. Yeah. Now you pick one and you tell me.
Agamemnon. Now, this might be too old, but Ian McShane.
Not at the time.
I'm talking about. No, I thought you were talking about casting today if we were to do Troy.
Oh no, like it doesn't matter then or today. It's like as long as they're like alive when that movie was made. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna say Ian McShane because nobody chews up scenes like Ian
Dude,
McShane.
He is fantastic.
Yeah, the way lines just rolled off his tongue is just crazy. Like he must have the craziest game when he spits to females. Like in his younger years, he was probably just killing.
And he's like 5'1". He's just this tiny hobbit of a guy.
And he's so just spitting ridiculous. Game, man.
Yeah.
Spitting game.
All right. Menelaus, Christopher Lee.
Okay. Menelaus. Yeah. The swordsman. Okay. All right, Christopher Lee. I can dig it.
Fantastic actor. Or Alan Rickman.
Yeah.
Can you see it? Alan Rickman, man, was like, he was a force way back when.
Oh, yeah. Oh, what his career would be. I mean, he had a great career, but imagine if he was still alive today. Yeah.
Sad. All right. So let's replace Achilles. Hector.
Oh, Hector?
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's replace
Aaron
Hector.
Taylor Johnson. Hector. Aaron Taylor Johnson.
If you had to pick an actor then?
Then?
Yes.
So if Eric Bana couldn't take the role, that's a
Nicolas
hard one.
Cage.
It's so hard because no. Absolutely not.
What's wrong with Nicolas Cage?
No, bro. No.
He has his hair from leaving Las Vegas, so he has that long hair. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Matt Damon.
There wasn't too many Americans in that movie, so like, do we have to?
No, I think Brad Pitt was the only one.
Yeah, Brad Pitt was the only one.
Oh yeah, he really was the only one, wasn't he?
Yeah,
he was the only American.
He was the only American in the entire movie.
he was clearly cast just to be like the bad boy, you know, the Achilles bad boy.
Yeah, but he's a good actor too, which helps. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
See, then he
yeah.
wasn't appreciated for his acting, but he is definitely he's
Nah.
appreciated for it now, I think.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. If I was casting today for Hector, maybe John Krasinski.
Anytime I think of John Krasinski, I just think of that Office spat when he hires his friend who's Asian. He tricks Dwight into like he's Asian. He's like,
He's like,
good
no,
on you,
wait,
Dwight, for never noticing this. Randall Park is hilarious, by the way. I love him.
Yes. And he does not age. Randall Park still looks the same.
He's like
crazy.
55, and he's like, you know what? Paul Rudd
For what?
for Hector.
I don't know. You're reaching.
All right, no. All right, I got to pick someone who's not American. Give me a second. Back then. All right, so if I pick someone back then for Hector, because Eric Bana is what, Australian, New Zealand?
Yeah, he's Australian.
Simon Baker.
Simon Baker. Let me check that out. Oh, okay. I would pick him for Achilles.
Simon Baker. He's kind of small though. Fantastic actor though. I love him. And then if I had to do today for Hector, let's see. We have to pick someone who's sound and someone who's logical and just grounded.
John Krasinski, man.
John Krasinski is a good one. You pick John Krasinski.
Yeah.
Jeremy Renner.
You think he's sound and calculated?
I mean, he could.
He's a little old now.
Yeah. Yeah, he is. No, that's true. He is a little old. I mean, I guess he could have done it then, huh? Because he's like the same age as Eric Bana.
I got to pick for Achilles if we were casting today.
All right, and who's that?
This might be a safe choice, but Austin Butler.
Austin Butler. You really think Austin Butler, huh?
Could play Achilles today.
Can he have a mustache?
He's already blonde, so you don't have to put that fake ass wig on his head like they did for Brad Pitt. You know. But no, shave the mustache. No.
Austin Butler, huh? I like that. That's he's not American, is he?
Yeah, he's American.
He is American? Okay.
Mm. And if you see him in Doom Part 2, you're like, okay, I can see it.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to get back to Achilles. For Paris, Timothée Chalamet today.
100%. Yes. 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 I can see it. That's like his quintessential character that he plays. He'd probably get an Oscar for it.
Dude, get it, dude. He's like, don't touch me. You know, that type of thing.
I mean, he's 150 pounds soaking wet, you know. Maybe even less. He's probably like 120.
Back then, dude, I'm going to need some help with back then. Like, really bad. Like, I'm drawing blanks on, like...
Let's just keep it today. It's easier. Let's just keep it
okay. All right, Timothée Chalamet today. All right, so for Achilles then.
Who you got?
Who's the guy who plays Jack Reacher? What's his name?
Alan Richardson? The dude's a mountain.
So was Brad Pitt.
Definitely wouldn't be able to. No, he was not. Brad Pitt is like sleek with muscle. That's why I said Austin Butler. He's like a mountain. I'm trying to avoid people
who play
look
Ajax.
like mountains. Yes, he could. 100%. That him or Henry Cavill. Nah, it would have to
No,
be
Henry
Alan
Cavill
Richardson.
doesn't have that type of build, dude.
Nah, it would have to be Alan Richardson because Ajax barely had a part in that movie. And you can't hire Henry Cavill for barely a part. You just can't.
Yeah, and I feel like Henry Cavill for Achilles is just a cop-out.
I feel like Henry Cavill for Hector or Achilles is a cop out. Honestly, the dude's a mountain too.
Oh, you know what? Who could have also played Paris? Well, he's a little older. Oscar Isaac.
Oscar, nah. He's a little older, but nah. I like you said Paris, right? I like Timothy Chalamet for
Okay,
Paris.
oh yeah, that's
He's like
100%
120
perfect.
pounds. That's perfect.
Okay,
And he's like the pretty boy guy. Like,
all
yeah.
right. What about Ryan Reynolds?
Nah. Ryan Reynolds has just been playing Ryan Reynolds for the past 20 years, and it's working for him. We'll keep him at that. Who could play Hector today? hmm. Hmm.
What's been stuff you've been
Hector.
watching lately?
All Japanese stuff. Shogun.
That doesn't help. Oh, you know who also could have done who could have played Paris? Ansel Elgort.
Yes, he could. He could. What about Cosmo Jarvis for Hector? The guy who plays Anjin on Shogun.
You know who he
Possible.
reminds me of? Andrew Lincoln. He looks identical to Andrew Lincoln. I thought it was Andrew Lincoln at first, and I'm like, is that Andrew Lincoln?
He reminds me of Tom Hardy.
Oh, dude, that would have been that would be perfect.
Remember after Inception? Was it Inception or The Dark Knight Rises when Hollywood was just hiring Tom Hardy clones? Like Hollywood wanted Tom Hardy for every project, but they couldn't get it good couldn't
Leonardo
get him for every
DiCaprio would
project.
have to play Menelaus then because he likes young women. So
Oh my gosh, bro. Oh my
anyone
gosh.
after 25, he just throws them away.
Or you can get Colin Farrell in prosthetics. Big buff guy.
But he's so good with the prosthetics.
I know. Did you see the trailer for the Penguin
Oh,
show?
dude, I can't wait.
I'm like,
I
dude, this
can't
guy
wait.
is like a wizard with accents.
Does all
He
of them,
sounds
dude.
like
He could be 10,000 years old, and it's like,
I don't understand how he's so good at accents when his Scottish accent is so thick. It's crazy. I
yeah.
mean, his Irish accent is so thick. It's crazy.
All right, so I'm still thinking Hector for Odysseus, Sam Worthington.
I can see it. I can see it. I can see it. Or
I like
Ewan
Sam
McGregor.
Worthington.
What about Ewan McGregor
Oh, dude.
um
Of course.
for Odysseus?
Of
He might be a
course.
little old.
No. No, 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 no. Not at all. Plus, he looks great, dude.
Yeah, he does look freaking young.
He looks
Um,
fantastic.
who could play Patroclus?
Oh,
Achilles.
um,
Achilles' cousin. When actually in the book he was Achilles' lover, not cousin.
correct.
Um,
But you couldn't have Brad Pitt as gay in 2003.
no, you couldn't. Today for sure it would be, but who could play? Oh, Helena Troy would be Sydney Sweeney.
She's like, she's doing everything. I would pick Margot Robbie personally.
Margot Robbie, that's a good pick. What about Perseus? Florence Pugh, she's in everything. You know what? No, she's her and Sydney Sweeney
Daisy
are in too much
Ridley.
stuff.
You're like, yeah, that actually could work.
That could work. That could work. That could work.
Because someone
Who did we say
boring.
was Achilles again? Oh yeah,
I
yeah, that
haven't
could
picked
work.
anyone. I'm still thinking. It's hard,
Yeah, it's hard.
dude. Like, who are like these? Because it's tough to find like a man's man right now.
Austin Butler.
Yeah, but I mean, there's not a lot though. You know.
That's the problem. There's not a lot. We said this was a problem not too long ago.
What do you think for Perseus? What's your
Jacob Perseus. I don't know. Let me think.
Oh,
White
I got someone
actors.
for Hector finally. You ready? Theo James.
We got our Hector. Theo James. One of the, yo. I feel like
Fantastic. I
his
love him.
career. He's great, but I feel like his career just went off the wayside. Either him or
No,
Richard Madden.
he won an Emmy for White Lotus.
Oh, really? Either him or Richard Madden.
Mm.
I think either him or Richard
All
Madden.
right, so
But
for Achilles, what about what's Arnold's son's name? Patrick?
Zac Efron.
No,
Oh,
Zach
Patrick.
Efron. Patrick
Patrick's.
Schwarzenegger, dude, perfect. No,
Yeah,
Zach Efron's too
yeah.
short.
I mean, nah. Brad Pitt's kind of tall.
He's like 6'1".
Yeah.
Zach
Cosmo Jarvis.
Efron's
He
like
looks
five
really
seven,
short.
if he's lucky.
If he's lucky. What about Jacob Elordi? He's
Who
Australian.
who's that?
He was the guy in Euphoria. He was the guy in
Oh, I've
Saltburn.
never seen.
The guy
Oh,
everybody was
him, that
in
guy.
love with.
No, no, no,
He also
no,
played Elvis, like the pretty boy. He's always playing the pretty boy guy.
no,
He's
no, no,
really
no.
tall.
I know.
Really
No,
tall.
he just looks like he's lost all the time in all the parts he's played. Like he's not doesn't belong here.
Well, look who he usually plays like the pretty boy who's always on drugs.
I changed my
So,
mind about the king of Troy. It needs to be Vince
mhm.
Vaughn.
Okay.
Or he needs to play a priest. He's just selling to him like in Wedding Crashers. He's like, listen, the gods are right on this. We need to listen to these guys.
Oh my gosh, man. That reminds me, we didn't do a mental hours, did we?
I picked Christopher Lee, but I said
Oh,
Leonardo
Christopher.
DiCaprio because of he likes women young. All right, who's your pick?
For mental hours. Mental hours. Mental hours. Hmm. Uh, See, it's hard because back in 2004, like today, 40 and 50-year-olds look like they're 30 and 40-year-olds from 2004. Like people age better nowadays. So it's
Yeah,
like
because they take care of themselves, dude.
it's harder to pick. Like the average person looks younger. So mental hours, because Brian Cox and Brendan Gleeson were not the youngest guys at the time.
No, but they're fantastic. So I mean, you don't,
Fantastic Shakespearean actors.
but you don't have to see in the books. It doesn't give an age, so you could really pick anything.
I just got my Priam,
Mm.
Patrick Stewart, as Priam of Troy.
Oh,
Patrick Stewart.
oh.
Um,
So I said Ian McDermott. They went to acting school together.
yeah, yeah. Who's my mental house? This is hard. This is hard. Jeff Bridges.
Jeff Bridges.
Jeff
Wow,
Bridges.
what a just coming out of left field.
Left
Wow,
field, man.
Jeff Bridges. Let's just throw John Goodman in there as Agamemnon. Then
He's losing weight.
do it. Let's just all right. John Goodman, and Jeff Bridges as brothers,
Yep. It could
or
work.
or just throw Danny McBride in there at some point. Then
Oh dear God, no. Dear
no.
God.
You know what? You know what? I'm going to give Jeff Franco, Matt Franco, whatever his name is, James Franco, Jeff Franco, James Franco.
You mean David Franco, James
No,
Franco's brother?
no, James, the canceled one. I want the canceled one.
Oh my gosh, as mental house because he's canceled.
No. He is going to be Odysseus.
James Franco,
Yeah, dude, he's philosophical. He's smart. He likes Virginia Woolf. He likes all that weird stuff.
because he's still canceled. I'm going to stick with Ewan McGregor as Odysseus. Dear
How do you get out of
gosh.
canceled status? I guess if you just don't talk to minors, that's a good start, huh?
Bro, the dude talked, the dude messed with minors. There is no getting out, you know, just like Ezra Miller. There
I,
is
I'm
no getting out.
I kind of Ezra Miller. That's true.
There is no getting out.
What about Ray Fisher as Ajax?
Ray Fisher's black.
So
I don't know if you
there
want
were
to check a
slaves
box,
then.
you know.
You know what I mean? There's lots of big African dudes back then. You know what I mean?
I don't
There-
know if Greece touched Africa by then.
well, this is made up, so who cares?
And he's not that big, Ray Fisher. He's kind of
I thought he
small.
was because in Justice League he looks big. Or am I just being mistaken?
Nah, he's not that big. If you look at Rebel
Oh, you
Moon,
know what? I changed my mind. Achilles Charlie Hunnam.
hmm, yeah, yeah, I can see that.
Dude, he's perfect build. He's tall. He's attractive. What more do you want?
Mhm.
Daisy Ridley would be awestruck kissing Charlie Hunnam.
Daisy Ridley would be awestruck in any role. Um, your words, not mine.
All right, so what's your Paris? Well, we already did Timothée Chalamet. All right, so what about
It's too perfect.
what about you know?
Ansel Elcourt for Patroclus. Let's say that.
I mean, Shia LaBeouf.
Oh my dear God.
You know what?
So he could
Agamemnon.
fight
Let's go
everybody on
younger.
set.
Adam Driver.
Yo.
Let's go younger.
Or Menelaus.
No, Adam. No,
Because he is the younger brother.
Yeah, no. Adam Driver has to be the big bad guy, the conqueror. He has to.
That would be perfect though. He just plays a villain so good.
He plays anything extremely well, but I think
That's true.
I think
He
he's
just
in
has
that.
villain features, you know. He has that villain chin and face.
Yeah, well, dude, it's the stare down, dude. Like it's that whole thing. It's like I don't know how he turned it off in like Marriage Story, but it's like
Because is that good?
all right, Hector's wife, some no name. I'm going to pick Jordana Brewster just for the sake of picking her.
That's good actually. That's good. We already picked Helen, right? We picked
Oh,
Perseus.
dude, Nathan Fillion for Odysseus.
That would be good. I wonder if people would be able to just take him as a straight character instead of being like the slick, slick guy who's got it all figured out, who's talking to Achilles. They look, man, I used to be you. I know you. I used to be you. I used to be the good looking guy everybody came to. You know, it's a young man's game. You know, but I
Or
wonder if people would
Hector.
be able
What
to take
about
that.
oh, dude, what's his Keanu Reeves?
He's a little old. I feel like Keanu could play
But he looks
Odysseus
perfect
instead
for
of
his
Hector.
age, though.
I don't think so, man. He could probably be Nestor, Agamemnon's right hand man.
Oh yeah, but he hasn't played bad guys, does he?
Who?
Keanu Reeves.
No, he does. Remember Man of Tai Chi? He's the villain. He also
Oh,
wrote and directed that movie.
did he really?
It's it's a great martial arts film. Yeah, he wrote and directed it,
I
and he
did not
played the
know
villain.
that.
Yeah,
Is he trained in that stuff? I feel like he is, huh?
yeah, he is.
This guy
After
does
like
everything, dude. Like it's amazing what he does.
he got the bug after the Matrix movies. Like he kept going after that, and he was looking for a good martial arts film to do, and he just wrote it himself. And directed it.
Really?
Hmm. Check it out, an underrated martial arts film starring Tiger Chen, who was a stunt double in the Matrix movies and the John Wick movies. Short Chinese guy.
We could also have Benedict Cumberbatch as Menelaus because if he's Driver's brother, they're both tall.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Menelaus, Benedict Cumberbatch, Agamemnon, Adam Driver. Yeah. Okay. I see it.
This is
I
a
see it for sure.
massive budget for just the actors.
I, it's crazy.
It's like, okay, if we could just throw $400 million for their salaries alone, let's do it.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you think these
Hmm.
guys take pay cuts like for something like this? Like, I feel like Adam Driver, like he can command a lot, but I feel like he doesn't.
I feel like you only take pay cuts for smaller projects that are passion projects of yours. You know, like if you really want to play a certain role,
I think for
you'll
that net for the Francis Ford Coppola movie, everyone took a pay cut just because you're working with the greatest director of all time, and this is probably his last movie.
yeah, the dude's like what, 90? Yeah.
90,
I'll take a
92,
pay cut to work with
93.
him.
I'll work for free.
Yeah.
I don't care. Just pay for my food and my lodging.
Yeah. You might even do the Tyrese thing where you'll pay the director to be in his movie. Tyrese paid to be in the first Transformers movie. He paid Michael Bay.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It paid off though. He was in the sequel. Well, the third movie. He wasn't in the second, I don't think. But he came back in the third.
Oh,
But yeah. Fun fact.
interesting.
Yeah.
Well, the more I know, I guess.
Yeah. That's what he said in the special features at least. I don't know if he was lying, but that's what he said. You know.
Hmm. Good
That's
to
how he
know.
was in the role. But
Wow.
yeah, I'm looking at Troy. Looking at this cast, it's crazy.
Yeah,
Seeing
there's
where
it's
all
like
these
the all
careers are
star
going.
cast at the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a massive hit of a movie, and it's crazy that Wolfgang Peterson didn't really do much after this. It says that Christopher Nolan was offered the opportunity to direct this film, Troy.
Really?
Hmm.
How do you think
Could you
that would have
imagine?
gone?
I think it would have been good. I mean, think about it. Like, look at his Batman. It's a grounded Batman. Christopher Nolan probably would have done the same thing, a grounded Troy. It just wouldn't have been in chronological order. It would have been mixed up, you know. A lot of
You
flashbacks
know
and
what?
stuff.
You know what? Guy Pearce needs to be thrown in here somewhere.
Mm.
If I had to do an ultimate movie with bad guys, he has to be in there, dude. He is just too good of an actor to just forget about, and it's just he's so forgotten about. I don't understand.
Mm. Yeah, I don't know. Hmm. I don't know what he would play besides like Odysseus, or maybe I don't know the character's name, but Achilles' right hand man who fights alongside him is
Oh yeah.
Myrmidon
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I feel like some actors are just too good to,
to
you
play
know.
something that small.
Yeah, it's just like, well,
Yeah.
So, what are you what are you going to be watching this coming week or two? What are you doing?
Catching up on Tokyo Vice, work's been crazy, so I haven't been able to keep up with it. I think I'm on episode 4, season 2 or
Mm-hmm.
5. I have been keeping up with Shogun. Amazing show. If you haven't watched it, it's near perfect. Like when people are like, "What's a good show?" I'm like, "Watch Shogun." I mean, this is what I talk about when I talk about good writing, because you look at Shogun. It's set in feudal Japan. There's not much going on. There's not many battles going on, but every conversation that the characters are having, you're engaged in. These are hour-long episodes. Not much is happening, but they're just so good. The way it's written, the way how Blackstone, I think his name is John Blackstone, the white guy in the show, um, who's supposed to be English and who can speak Portuguese. They're actually, when they're speaking English in the show, they're speaking Portuguese. Um, the clash of seeing how his culture is, which is more aligned with our culture, versus the ancient, well, the old Japanese culture and why they act the way they do, why they rather kill themselves and shame their family, why they rather kill themselves than to disobey a direct order, and how he's like, you guys don't value life, and they're like, no, we do, we kill ourselves or whatever, we would rather kill ourselves because we value life,
Right.
because we could die at any moment. Because he gets to Japan, he doesn't realize that there are earthquakes. He's never witnessed one, and he's like, what's that? And they're like, there's earthquakes. And she explains to him that's why, our houses are built the way they are. They could easily collapse, but they're so fast to put up. That's why we do the things that we do, because we could die at any moment. you know so it's very interesting to see. It's very easy as an audience member to align with John Blackstone's way of thinking, because he kind of thinks how we do here in the West. But to see why they do the things they do in Japan, and how him and the Japanese tackle each other character wise because of their different values on how to honor life, it's very interesting, and with a character who's trying to carry out his goals due to his religious obligations, but he's kind of stuck in a cultural prison, if you will. Uh, he doesn't really know what to do. He doesn't speak the language, but it's very interesting to see those two cultures clash, along with the threat of war at the back end of it. Have you watched Shogun?
Oh yeah, I've caught up. The
Yeah,
earthquakes are the cannon thing alone is just absolutely crazy.
and look at that show. I mean, you see all these shows ever since The Mandalorian came out. Every show has kind of looked the same, with the volume in the background, but Shogun, the cinematography is just top notch. The acting is top notch. The the writing is top notch. And this is what I'm talking about. If you don't have enough money to do big extravagant things, you damn sure better spend your money on great writers. And this show has great writers. Who knows what it's doing? But I'm not surprised, because FX only really puts out quality work. I'm not caught up with all their stuff, but whenever FX makes a show, it's great stuff. And when I saw that Shogun was being produced by FX, I was like, oh, this is going to be great. I can't wait to see this. Bring it on. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, check out Shogun. That's my little 2 cents about Shogun. It's dope. Check it
Yeah,
out,
I
man.
like it a lot.
Check it out. It's really good. And that last episode, I won't give anything away, but with the earthquake and everything, I was like, man, this is some great stuff.
I agree. I
Yeah, man.
agree.
But yeah, my Nomads. This was another good one. Hope you liked it. If you haven't seen Troy, check it out. If you haven't seen Shogun, check it out. If you haven't seen the trailer for The Crow, check it out and come
Check
out
it
with
out.
your own conclusion. you know.
Yep.
And if you're curious, watch the original Crow on Paramount Plus. You know, starring Brandon Lee, who literally gave his life for that film. Fun fact: the one of the director of the John Wick series of movies, Chad Stahelski, plays the stunt double for Brandon Lee in that movie. And after Brandon Lee died, Chad Stahelski um, played the rest of the Crow in the movie, because he had a similar body as Brandon. They dyed his hair black, and he finished up the roles, and they did some camera tricks to hide his face and stuff. Very compelling stuff. So check it out. You know, check it out. So
Sounds good.
have a good one, my nomads. Peace. Be creative.